last episode, Katie and Brian go on a climbing and marriage adventure to Central Oregon and one of the most famous climbing areas in the world, where Katie shows what she's made of. In this episode of Adventures with Namaste, we are not sailing or climbing. We are on a cross-state car adventure. My mom in Phoenix is quite lonely, in need of companionship and family support over the holiday. We debated about flying or driving and finally decided that driving a COVID gauntlet through 4 states was the safest option. So we get COVID tests, quarantined, and headed out on a 2,800-mile Great American Desert car adventure circumnavigation. During this adventure, we find surprisingly good food in Trump country, almost run out of gas 70 miles from nowhere, are awestruck by open-pit mining scars in Nevada, get pulled over by an old-school sheriff, and risk diving into the heart of Las Vegas. After 1,376 miles, we finally arrive in Phoenix, where we eat dinner the first night at the Barrio restaurant, and a few days later climb Piestewa Peak. As always, please smash, click, or gently push the like and subscribe buttons, and share our videos if you think others would enjoy. We really appreciate you watching, and we hope you enjoy them. Lockdown technically is probably not a great idea. We were going to fly, but now we're driving 1,376 miles. My 80-year-old mom. We took COVID tests. We'll get the results probably somewhere in central Nevada. If we get our COVID tests back somewhere in northern Nevada or central Nevada, I guess we'll just...
I don't know. That'd be terrible, but...
Right?
Yeah.
So, how are you feeling about driving all this way?
All this way, I'm not super pumped about the 20 hours in the car, but I think we'll make the best of it. I'm looking forward to warmer weather, sunshine, and I know that Grandma Patty is going to be happy that we're coming. So I think it's worth it. It's a bit much to do, but that's okay.
Oregon, Central Oregon, on our way to Winnemucca, and we stopped at Boomers. It had
a lot of really good reviews. The food is supposed to be really good.
And there's a wood workshop now in the middle of where the cafe used to be. The menu is good so far. It is promising, but we'll see when we get the food. But Hines is a suburb of the thriving metropolis of
Burns. It is Trump country.
Big time. So we got our food, and what's the first hit?
They're like little chicken wing bites. They're bourbon
wing bites. Not bad.
Not bad. I mean,
wine out of a Starbucks paper cup.
Not bad.
Killer. Pork belly Korean tacos.
Wow.
Yeah. It's good.
Wonder how their slaw is.
Well, we're departing the Holiday Inn Winnemucca. Got in really late last night and had some interesting experiences in the middle of the Nevada desert that we'll definitely tell you about. You've put a spell on me. We started running out of gas. And in south central Oregon and northern Nevada, there are these long stretches that are like 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70 miles where...
We were in like a mountain range.
Yeah, it was, we were in the middle of nowhere. And I looked down at the gas gauge and realized we were running out of gas. We were in no cell range, so we had no idea where we were. Well, you knew where we were going, but we had no idea where the closest gas station was. And it was 9 o'clock at night, pitch black dark,
22 degrees,
really cold, and we were kind of freaked out. Okay, the adventure continues.
We'll see how today goes.
The way you're moving, it's got me moving my own feet. The greatest feeling that I could ever dare to dream is you forever moving next to me. Let's not waste time or take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth.
Austin, population it looks like maybe about 10 people. Population of the cemetery looks like maybe a couple hundred. We're just stopped right now. For some reason there's some kind of construction and the road is kind of backed up and we're just waiting for things to clear. We saw this really cool cemetery with all these World War II veteran headstones. Just really cool scene too from this place. To spend your last eons of time breaking down in the dirt. Cool little town, Austin. Right on the foothills. It must be an old mining town. Lots of little museums, 2 churches, even a courthouse.
The wine walk in September.
Old houses, 1-lane road. Gotta slow down going through town. What happens in Austin you brag about? What would you like to brag about that happened in Austin?
I really don't know.
If we can't brag about things from Austin, what do we have to brag about?
We waited a lot in Austin.
We did. We could brag about that. We're very patient.
What does the sign say?
You'll need a bigger bucket list after visiting Austin.
Is it really? Is that what it said?
That's what it said.
Wow, they really...
They're playing up Austin.
Yeah.
Holy cow, Austin is the place. So that's probably 200 feet tall, maybe 300. And that's all Earth that came out of the Earth. Wow. That's crazy. 1/4 mile wide. 400 feet tall. Look at all of those tailings back up in there. That's what it used to look like. Another one. It just keeps going. How is it that we can realize the Earth in that way?
Big money.
Overall, Nevada leads the nation with the largest number of mines with more than 180,000 active mining claims. That's 49% of the federal total. Round Mountain Gold Mine is an open pit mine that has been in operation since 1906. It is almost 2 miles long and 1.5 miles wide and 400 meters deep. Kinross Gold Corporation is the owner and operator. Total Round Mountain Gold production from 1906 through 2004 was about 9.5 million ounces of gold and 7 million ounces of silver. At today's gold prices, that equals $16.5 billion. Almost half of the countries in the world have a GDP less than that. Gold consumption in the world is primarily for jewelry at 2,118 metric tons. The rest is investments, banks, and technology at 2,350 metric tons. That's 144 million ounces of gold consumed each year. Open pit mining, where material is excavated from an open pit, is one of the most common forms of mining in the world and also the most damaging. They create huge permanent scars in the landscape. Because the ore extracted from today's mines is extremely low grade, they generate huge amounts of waste. The average gold ring generates more than 20 tons of waste. Even when everything goes right, mine waste often contains toxic substances like arsenic, mercury, and cadmium that are harmful to public health and fish and wildlife when released into the environment. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, metal mining is the nation's #1 toxic polluter.
They're a little more COVID conscious here.
Yeah, that's good, huh?
They have masks on and they have spread out the tables. Cheers.
Yum. Looks good. That's traditional Bavarian. So how are the wings?
They're really yummy. They're smoked.
Yeah. Smoked wings is like, wow. Very good. So, Tonopah and Tonopah Brewing Company. Not bad.
No,
good
it's
beer.
I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely hit the spot, and if you look around, like what our options are,
Not many options.
Yeah, this was really good.
Yeah. So, Vegas. Here we come. Well, leaving Tonopah, Boss Hog pulled us over, and he takes his job very seriously.
As he should.
I looked down at my speedometer, and it looked like I was doing 30. He says that we were doing 49. There's a car in front of us from California. Us being from Washington, we are lawbreakers. It's just when we thought we were free and clear. Oh boy.
Yep.
So,
Moving on.
49 in a 25. Let's take a guess. How much am I going to have to pay for that? I'm going to say, yeah, like something like that. Close to $200, like maybe $190. After a very long day of driving, we finally arrive in Sin City. We weren't feeling much like sinners, however, given we were pretty weary from 2 full days of driving. We checked into our hotel, settled into our room, let Samba choose a TV to watch, and bid farewell so we could use whatever energy we had left to gamble a bit and find some good food. Both of us eventually lost money on slots, of course, and decided to eat at Tom Colicchios Craftsteak. Unfortunately, we didn't film much given how anxious we were about being in Vegas and attempting to social distance. If everyone else is cooperating, social distancing is a lot easier. In Vegas, yeah, let's just say not many people were listening to Dr. Fauci or to CDC guidelines. Here we are, and I'm honestly a little overwhelmed. And Katie is excited. How are you feeling?
I want to just get going.
Keep going.
Moving along.
Wow. Okay,
We're not
here we
going to
are.
ever admit we were here, though.
No, we'll put this on the video.
No, we're not. I'll tell you about my real thoughts, though.
What's your real thoughts?
I mean, a $385 dinner. I don't want cold tomatoes. And I think that your server should be able to describe, I mean, it's such an expensive restaurant, like they should be able to tell you every single thing about what you're about to eat. And I was really appreciating that one waitress that said the reason why she cut our steak was because they're more like a sample menu. And it's like, You gotta tell me that. Why would you cut my steak? The steak, your ribeye was good. My, there might have been, maybe it was like the filet mignon. It wasn't seared quite enough on the outside for me. But the potatoes were really good. The steak tartare I thought was really good. I mean, it was just, it's a good meal, but it's an overpriced meal. And I think for that money, everything should be absolutely perfect. But you're in Vegas, so can I give a review on Craft Kitchen? I would say that was exceptional. The service was exceptional. It was quick. The food was outstanding. And we're in a little strip mall outside of Vegas.
Yeah, the Craft Kitchen was amazing. The pork carnitas omelet is cool. So we're on our way to Phoenix. We're gonna go over the Hoover Dam a little bit, but we're getting in the car, ready to go. Well, we're arriving in Phoenix. 3 days of driving. Wow, my back hurts. My neck is kind of sore, but I'm glad we're here. It's been really pleasant to be in the car with my lovely bride.
I did some of the driving. I just want that to be noted.
It's true. Like she drove at least half.
Until today.
A little less than half.
The rest of the time it was happy.
Yeah. But we're arriving in Phoenix and we're going to stop at this really cool little trendy Mexican place that's was on Food Network. It looks like maybe Biden and Kamala Harris ate there because I recognized the mural of the building when they were in Phoenix prior to the election. So we should find out if they really did eat there or not. 5 days of hanging out with my mom is going to be great.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we're going to go climbing one day. We're going to do some awesome runs and in the desert, some of them on the canal, and the weather's going to be in the 70s. Well, we are here at the Barrio restaurant. Amazing food. I'm looking forward to sitting down, getting out of the car. 3 days. It's a lot of time to be in a car straight through, but we're going to check out this yummy restaurant. We're at Barrio Cafe in South Phoenix.
What are you drinking?
You know what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a margarita.
My eyes are watering. It's so spicy. This is the best food that I have ever eaten.
The best you've ever eaten.
I mean, it is so good.
Wow.
And this, oh my god. I never eat tortillas. This is so good.
She never eats tortillas.
Ever. It is so good. And I'm so full from eating all of the guacamole. Look at this.
Guacamole's bomb.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, hands down, best Mexican food I've ever had.
No, the service we didn't get close. It was like a little buffet, like a
put a picture of it on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it was in the other room. We took all the tables out, and it was them over there.
So we're heading up to climb what used to be called Squaw Peak, and for obvious reasons is no longer called that, but now it's called Piestewa Peak. That's where we're going. So we're almost the summit. I believe it's right there. And get an amazing panoramic view from the summit. Camelback Mountain right there. The other biggest peak in Phoenix. The summit is near. Piestewa Peak, formerly known as Squaw Peak, was named by a former Arizona governor after U.S. Army soldier Lori Piestewa, who was killed in action in Iraq. Lori, Piestewa's father, was from the Hopi Nation. It stands at 2,610 feet of elevation and rises 1,500 feet above the Phoenix Sonoran Desert and is the third highest point in the Phoenix Valley. It is climbed thousands of times per month each year. Although I spent much of my childhood in Phoenix, living just a mile away, and spent most of my life climbing, I had actually never climbed Piestewa Peak. So this was a bit of a milestone. In the next episode of Adventures with Namaste, we continue our driving circumnavigation of the Great American Desert. Brian attempts to traverse a climb he used to do daily 30 years previously. They drive along the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains, stop at quirky and wild Mono Lake, and make one last unplanned stop at beautiful Lake Tahoe before heading home.